Peace and blessings. And what? Thanks for checking in this part of these here internets at this time of the day. Uh, it's funny this whole thing, this phenomena of going live is it's a little interesting to me because it says like in the what um, there when you hit the live button, there's a little thing that says, "Hey, check to see if your video and your microphone is working," but there's no option to check it. It's like you just gotta you just gotta go for it. But hey, you know what? I take a little time out of my day and designate it as my lunch. I usually don't eat because I just don't. I be energized and motivated by the happenings of the day, the interactions with people and technology and music and whatever it is. So a lot of times I don't eat. That my fuel is you. You are my fuel. And so we are in the midst of Black History Month, and that's kind of what I was going to talk about at the time of this recording. This may be evergreen in a sense that maybe the things that I talk about could be, somebody could hear it in the future. Like if you're not checking in on the live, the Facebook live, the social media posting live as it happens, and if you get to see this later on, which I kind of discovered that I originally thought that live was kind of like, I don't know, like Snapchat or whatever, that it would disappear after a while, and maybe it does. But I discovered that it seems like maybe after a day, I'm not sure what the time frame is, maybe 2 or 3 days, that then you can download the actual video. So that's what I did last time is I downloaded it and then I uploaded it to YouTube and TikTok. So now we got another platform where I will just kind of share this. And to be clear, what I'm sharing right about now during the month of February is the My Hidden Figures movement. And to be clear, the My Hidden Figures movement is about celebrating people that made an impact in my life. And I encourage anyone and everyone to do the same. And I encourage you to celebrate those people around you, give them their flowers now, or give them their acknowledgments now, depending upon how you were impacted. And I say that because a lot of times, I overhear stuff where people are trying to do some kind of Black History program, and of course they're dealing with you know what? I don't like to say of course or obviously, so I'm gonna try to delete those from my vocabulary. But a lot of times you see Black History programs. I just saw a wonderful Black History poster that was on a door, and it had all of these people, but it had just the people that you may or may not expect. Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, Thurgood Marshall, Harriet Tubman. All those wonderful figures from our past. But I think that we should take a moment and highlight people from the not so distant past, but some of the people that may impact you or have done something for you in your life in the not so distant future. So every year I try this, and I try to I keep a running tally, and I mentioned this before. So if you saw the other video before, this might be a little bit redundant, but uh, I try to just keep a little running tally, a spreadsheet of people that I may have bumped into that maybe say, oh, well, okay, thanks for that, or whatever happen to say. And I'll have a little bit of a disclaimer in that the most recent person at the time of this recording that I highlighted was Ironetta Wright, and I had some spirited conversation and some not necessarily debates, but I'll say some spirited conversation on choosing her. And I chose her like a lot of people. Like, to be fair and to be clear, I wrote up the whole explanation of why I thought that I was impacted by her, and it wasn't necessarily all positive, but I marveled at the way that she was able to handle herself in within that whole situation of adversity that she was up against. For what it's worth, Ironetta Wright is the superintendent of Cincinnati Public Schools, and the 6 unions that have contracts with Cincinnati Public Schools all voted no confidence and eventually she resigned. And just during that tumultuous time, I just saw how she handled it, and to me it was impressive. And maybe with her out of the Cincinnati Public School District, things may be better. That remains to be seen. And that is that's neither here nor there. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not leaning one way or the other. I can't tell the future. The future does look brighter, and it feels brighter. People seem to be happier. So that's a plus. But anyway, I said this was going to be like Inception, maybe like the last time, and just to kind of explain how I do things. I mentioned that I have a spreadsheet, and I keep a running tally, and then once I have everybody for the number of days in the month, then I sort it alphabetically, and then whatever the first letter is of how they may identify themselves. Like a couple times I had DJ, so I had DJ Dior, DJ Pillow, so they were in the D's, and I'm just continuing to go alphabetically. So the next person on my list is James Evans Jr., and so I may even tag him in the comments here, and I will. Is who I've chosen as my hidden, as one. I'm gonna try to make this comment make sense. As one of my hidden figures for what's today's date? Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day. So what is that? That's 2/14/2025. And so I'm gonna hit the. That's gonna be the first comment in this live video, and it's got the hashtag of my hidden figures. But so what I said is I'm explaining how I do this. So I go through my spreadsheet. So now I've got the person that I'm looking for to highlight and honor for today. So I've got multiple monitors going on here. So what I do is I have a whole photo album called My Hidden Figures. So I go to my Facebook page. Facebook is where I usually start off at. And I go to my Facebook page, and I select that album, and then there's an option to upload images. And so I already have an image of James Evans Jr. And while I'm doing this, let me just tell you. And so let me finish the thought. I'm adding this to the album, adding the picture that I already have set up. For what it's worth, I got a little template. And I got a template that's 600 by 600, and it has the little logo that I came up with. Not a big deal, but it's just the Hidden Figures logo from that movie. And I just put a "my" in front of it. So I upload the image, then I go to the album, and then I've got a little thing that I typed up about him, and I actually have it in Notepad, which I'm working on a Windows device, but I have this on a Notepad, and even though I have it in Notepad makes it kind of easy for me to copy and paste, and it also doesn't take any formatting with it. So sometimes when you have some kind of word processor or something like that, then it'll have formatting, and that may or may not work on the platform that you're posting. So I posted that on Facebook, and I tagged him in it, and then I'm going to continue to post to my other networks, which social media sites, that LinkedIn, and some of this, it really allows you to have a lot of there's a large or the character limit is high, so I sometimes post a lot of information about folks, and sometimes depending on the platform, I think Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram offer a lot of the character limit is pretty high. So I usually type a couple paragraphs or so, whatever I'm feeling. I type a couple paragraphs about that person, and I post that. And so I'll do that. So I did Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and then I've got what is it? Twitter. What's the other thing? Twitter, Threads, and Blue Sky. And those platforms don't offer as much flexibility, or the character limit is fairly low. But the way I've worked around that is whatever it is that I'm typing, I actually then type it in Word, save it as a PDF, and then export it as a graphic, so it's a PNG. And so I just post everything that I want to say in that graphic, and so I post the graphic right next to the picture. And so that's what I'm doing now on Twitter, and then on Threads, and then again on Blue Sky. And I do this like I said. I'm somebody mentioned to me that like this is my movement. I mean, I guess it was something that I kind of wanted to do, but I don't necessarily consider this my movement, because I really think that we all have somebody like that. When I say my hidden figures, yeah, it's the images and that I'm posting, and the people that I'm posting about are people um, that I came in contact with, people that I feel impacted me over this past year. And as mentioned, I think everybody has somebody like that. So, and I encourage everybody. I remember I was telling somebody that, um, kind of, I guess the kind of conversations we have in and around Black History Month are Black History programs. Like, hey, what's going on here or there or whatever. And I remember a few years back that I was talking with some coworkers, and they were discussing and wondering what they were going to do for Black History Month. And I just happened to be in the room, and when they were having that conversation, and I described what I did. Like, hey, this is what I do. I just highlight people that have impacted me locally, like in my life. Like, the lady that yelled at you to tell you to go in the house when streetlights come on. That could have been one of my hidden figures. And so just that quick, I did all six platforms, and then what I'll do is I'll follow up on a mobile device, and I follow up on a mobile device for a couple of reasons. Is that eventually this live video will be accessible, and I'll be able to download it and re-upload it if I desire, um, to TikTok and to YouTube. So create this actual video content. I'm still just kind of a talking head because I'm not sharing screens, which I really want to at some point, and so maybe I'm going to figure that out, which I'm working on myself, trying to make some things happen. But I go to the mobile device because it offers a different kind of an option on how to share. That when I hit share, down at the bottom, that's like blown out a little bit, but down at the bottom there's an option to go to groups. When you select groups, then you can just start checking boxes. and it basically allows you to share the different Facebook groups that may accept that kind of thing. You can post to 10 at a time, and for me, I just realized that I administer 74 different groups on Facebook, and so um, not necessarily that that's a lot, but maybe it is. And I have a lot of groups that are just kind of designed for what? For promotional stuff. And that's where I post this stuff at, is in those kinds of groups. And so sometimes, and there's a reason for that. There's a reason why I posted those kinds of groups, because sometimes when people tag me and stuff, it's like if I'm not a part of it, I don't necessarily want to display that. Like, I'm working in the entertainment field or whatever, and I recognize, there's a lot of camaraderie that happens within entertainment, a lot of camaraderie and collaborations that happen. But like, if I have an event on the last Friday of the month, and somebody else tags me in their event that's also on the last Friday of the month, I kind of feel like that's a conflict of interest, and I don't mind helping somebody promote, and I don't mind supporting my friends and family, and just people that are in the same industry. But I kind of want to do it on my own terms, so I created a group. Like, I created a group called Exciting News. So in the Exciting News group, you post all day long. Exciting news, post it all day long. But then on my personal page, I may post the event that I'm a part of. And I don't necessarily get mad or whatever, but that's just kind of how I do things. I also recognize that and it reminds me of communication, like sending a text message. People may text you all day long, and depending upon what their bubble is, what their circle is, what they are accustomed to, if they are accustomed to receiving a text back from whoever their friends are, like, immediately, and then if I don't text back immediately, then somebody's like, "What? Why didn't you text back?" Like, probably because my phone was over here and it was on charge or something like that, or like I left my phone here and I went over there, or I was asleep. You know what I mean? Like, it's sometimes I have to be careful, because I think I'm pretty opinionated, and I don't mean no harm with my opinions, and I've also been alerted that sometimes with my strong opinions, I could be wrong. And not that I necessarily want to be right, but I mean, that's just a lesson for all of us, that if you don't have all the information, that your opinion may change once you get more information. It's a thing I say about favorite food. Like, what's your favorite food today? And you may pick a food. Then I may say, well, what's your favorite food tomorrow? Well, you don't know, because tomorrow hasn't come yet. And you haven't had all of the flavors from tomorrow. Um, and so I find that I have to be a little more cautious with my strong opinions, because I may get more information. Somebody said that's what science is all about. The science is, what's proven today and what more information that you can get for tomorrow to either disprove or to add to that information, add to what you already know. I don't know. But let me tell you about my man James Evans. So I was at the at Black Tech Week. If you're unfamiliar with Black Tech Week, that is a wonderful event. You don't have to be black to go to Black Tech Week, but it is an event and almost a spectacle that comes to our part of the world here in Cincinnati, Ohio. It comes every year, and I put it in, you can find out more at blacktechweek.com. And at one point there was who was that? Issa Rae was the keynote speaker. And anyway, Black Tech Week is just it's a networking event, and it's a wonderfully cultural and warm place to be. And so I was at Black Tech Week, and as a matter of fact, I was with one of my coworkers most recently, and it was good to be with my coworker that we don't normally, like, we don't hang out together or whatever other than work, right? And so what happened is at Black Tech Week, I was bumping into people left and right that I hadn't seen, and it was kind of like it's kind of like a Black family reunion. But just to name a few, one of my hidden figures for this month, Mr. Chris Huffman, I bumped into him. He was winning, and he was down there at Black Tech Week. And I also bumped into artist extraordinaire from Cincinnati, Ohio, Annie Ruth. And it was just wonderful to see some of these people. And when I saw them, Ishaq Nadir, all the way back from Africa. And, and I was with my coworker while this was happening. It was a couple of us that had come down there. And we just kind of wound up, rendezvousing. And my coworker just kind of looked and said, seems like you need to be poured into more often. And that term stuck with me, like, wow, okay, and I guess in some respects, sometimes I've just been kind of working, and I keep my head down or whatever, and sometimes the day job can do that, where it's just keep your head down, keep your nose to the grind, and every now and then when you look up and somebody gives you some feedback, or maybe even some praise if you're lucky, and it can make you like, oh. What did Cat Williams? This is a tall day today. Make you stand up straight, throw your shoulders back, and be proud as you're walking. Like, oh, thanks. And but anyway, so I'm down there Black Tech Week, and I get these comments from a coworker or whatever, and my beard has gotten a little longer since the last time, and so every now and then, like, I kind of do this, which I don't know if it's you can see that, like, but what this was is I had it plaited, and then I took it loose, and I just didn't necessarily comb it, and so it has kind of a weird kind of Davy Jones Locker from Pirates of the Caribbean kind of look to it, and sometimes people make comments on it. So I'm kind of used to that or whatever, and, I'm happy to say, yeah, well, I just, I did this or whatever. And so this guy slid up to me and said, hey, man, what products do you put in your beard? And, I'm like, again, I'm just kind of used to it, whatever. And I was like, oh, yeah, man, la, 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 and I rattled off whatever I had did, like some organic coconut oil or something like that, a little moisturizer that I put on it. Anyway, I did not realize that my man was Mr. James Evans Jr., and he was coming up to me because I had a beard and because he had some beard balm. And I was like, oh, okay, this is a different kind of conversation there, right? And I promise, I don't believe I knew this brother before that moment, but I after talking with him, I felt like almost like I had known him all my life. And it was refreshing. It was encouraging. It was amazing what do they call that? Your elevator speech. That sometimes you have to be ready, depending upon what you're doing. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're out there selling your wares or whatever, or marketing your position or your product, that if you step on the elevator with somebody like, who knows, Kendrick Lamar, he's a hot topic right now. If you step on the elevator with Kendrick Lamar and you got, a couple of floors to go, you got like what, 30 seconds, and you got to, hey, this is what I do, this how great I am, this, that, another thing. And people talk about that in business and in entrepreneurship. That you don't have to what? You ain't got to get ready if you stay ready. And so, with that in mind, Mr. James Evans Jr. didn't have to get ready because he was ready at the moment and told me all about his product, and we had a good conversation. And now, probably for the last 3+ decades, I've been working with or at the Midwestern Regional Black Family Reunion celebration. And so I listened, and I didn't have, we just exchanged information. And my thought was like, hey, you know what? You down here at Tech Week, you work in the room. This is wonderful. And just listen to his presentation. It was uplifting. I just felt good. It wasn't like all right, my man, all the way from Florida, Dan Marshall, Loop Man Dan. If you down there in Florida, make sure you check out his performance. He is down there doing the daggone thing. He just stopped the 9 to 5 and just went on down the floor and like, I got this sunshine and I'm gonna just start playing. What's up, Dan? I appreciate you being out there, man. But so my man had the sales techniques and the marketing techniques, and he was hitting me with the wonderful presentation about his products. And I pointed out like, hey, for the past 3+ decades, I've been involved with the Black Family Reunion, the Midwestern Regional Black Family Reunion celebration. And that may be a fit. That might be the target market, even though, we was at Black Tech Week. And again, you don't have to be black to go to Black Tech Week. It's a wonderful experience, right? But just with his products, if his products are geared towards beards and a beard of a certain type, I was telling him, hey, the Black Family Reunion celebration, the Midwestern Regional Black Family Reunion celebration, may be the spot for you. And I don't quite remember exactly what the conversation was, but I feel like that he had reached out and hadn't gotten anywhere with it, and I thought that I might have some insider information. Unfortunately, we didn't connect on that. I couldn't make it happen. And but that's why I'm circling back. I'm circling back because he made an impression with his presentation, and I just wanted to highlight that during Black History Month and during this segment, which is My Hidden Figures. So if you're watching this right now, I guess within a few minutes or whenever, if you go back and refresh the page, my page, you'll see that I posted. Or if you're on Twitter or LinkedIn or wherever you are, if you are on some other one of those platforms that I mentioned, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Threads, Blue Sky, during this Facebook Live, like in the description of this, I talked about, it's like Inception. I'm posting live while I'm Facebook Live, So I posted all that out there, and I used my mobile device to share it to however many different groups. I think I did 26 different groups. That's in Facebook alone, and then hit those other 5 social media networks. So this is therapy for me sometimes. I get a little break during the day. Like I said, I don't always eat lunch, but I have food for thought. That keeps me full. But I appreciate y'all checking in, whether it's live as it's happening or whether it's in the future, and whatever platform that you see this on. If it's Facebook, great. If it's I don't know if I can upload to Instagram. We'll try that. But hopefully it'll show up on YouTube and TikTok at some point. But hey, that's my time. I appreciate you. And like I used to say on my radio show, and I've been ending every little live episode with this: stay black till we get back. Stay white. It's all right. Whatever color of the rainbow that you see when you look in the mirror, we're all one race, the human race, under one God. Until we meet again, peace. I love you. I'm out. Assalamu alaikum.